This is HBM's Cryptid-Corner for Wednesday, July 25th, 2018. And I want to start it off with, just want to start it off with saying that I want to pass our condolences on to the family of Richard Henry. A lot of people may not know who that is. He was kind of what you might call an under-the-radar type figure as far as the Bigfoot world. He was very under the radar. He didn't seek a lot of publicity. But he was well known for having been at the Patterson-Gimlin film site about 2 weeks after the film was shot. I believe it was 2 or 3 weeks at least. And he was there with Jim McLaren, and they actually took footage of Jim McLaren walking the same path, ostensibly, that Patty did, which was a film that was going to be used later to make comparisons. But unfortunately, that film has become lost. We have the John Green footage of Jim McLaren, but we do not have the footage from Richard Henry. So, and I remember Daniel Perez interviewed Richard Henry for his newsletter, and Richard Henry said he found places where Patterson and Gimlin had tied up their horses, and also found the hoof prints. I think he found some boot prints as well, but that confirms that, actually, basically, he was confirming that they were the only two individuals down there at that time, other than Patty herself. So that would seem to corroborate that Patterson and Gimlin were by themselves. There was nobody else there. No Bob Hieronymus. Nobody else. Except for Patterson and Gimlin. Roger and Bob. So, I mean, it doesn't absolutely prove anything, but it's interesting nonetheless. So our condolences go out to the family of Richard Henry, and also I want to express condolences to Rick Riolo on the loss of his dog Abby. I know that they were longtime companions, and she's in a better place, and he'll see her again at the Rainbow Bridge, I'm sure. She'll be waiting for him. At least I believe that to be true. So, it's tough when you lose a pet. It's really hard to lose a pet like that. So, we've lost pets before, which we've had for a long time, and it doesn't get any easier. It just doesn't. So, condolences go out to Richter on the loss of his beloved dog. Now, I want to talk about Thomas Steenberg's recent appearance on Monster X Radio show called Talk with Old Timers, or Old Timers Talk. I can't remember exactly the name of the new program, but it's a monthly program. Thomas is going to be co-hosting with Julie Wrench once a month. And I enjoyed the very first episode. They talked about Renee DeHenden. And Thomas told a very interesting account of the reason John Green and Renee DeHenden no longer had anything to do with each other. And it was because when John and Renee went down to the Bluff Creek area in August and September of 1967, all of the individuals that were there, he and Don Abbott and also others, they went off, all of them except Renee. They left Renee out in the middle of nowhere in scorching heat. I mean, Renee was basically there all day, and when they got back, Renee stuck a shotgun. History has not recorded if the shotgun was loaded or not, but he stuck a shotgun in John Green's face and said, "If you ever do that to me again," referring to leaving him by himself out in the middle of nowhere, "I'll blow your damn head off." So from then on, John Green and Renee DeHinden were not partners anymore. Can't say I blame Renee because, I would not want to be stuck out in the middle of nowhere in the heat with no way to get out. Now, Thomas had never told that story before the recent Monster X show. So, whoa. I listened to the show last night, and I was like, what? When I heard that. So, but yeah, you guys can check it out. blogtalkradio.com/MonsterXRadio. Really great program. Thomas talked quite a bit about Renee and some of the other surrounding events with Renee DeHinden, and yeah, he basically told Renee's story. It's going to be a monthly program. He's going to talk about all of the old school Bigfooters that he has known. John Green, Bob Titmus, Grover Krantz, the late John Bindernagel, all of that. So yeah, it's going to be, I think it's going to be a great little series every month. So I would recommend everybody tune in and check it out, because it's good stuff. I mean, Thomas is a tremendous individual. He's just, he's known all the major figures, and he's been there, he's done that. So, ever since he started in his pursuit of the Sasquatch in 1978. So, yeah. And I think I may have mentioned this. Well, when you see the other video, you'll see that I mentioned something. But yes, Thomas's revised edition of the Sasquatch in Alberta is now available for pre-order from HancockHouse.com. That's very exciting, because now we'll be able to own all of Thomas's books. I have his first two books. I have Sasquatch Bigfoot, The Continuing Mystery, and of course In Search of Giants, Bigfoot Sasquatch Encounters. And they're both great books. In Search of Giants kind of expands on the first book and the second book. And it also has new cases and things of that nature, circa 1998. And those books are available from Hancock House or Amazon, whichever you choose to utilize. Now, of course, he also was he was an associate on Meet the Sasquatch, and also on, he co-authored Sasquatch in British Columbia, and I believe he wrote the foreword to Yale and the Strange Story of Jacko the Ape Boy. So he was associated with those books as well, and those books are also available at HancockHouse.com. So the new revised edition of Sasquatch in Alberta is what Thomas was talking about when he gave a video interview a few months ago to Bigfoot Okanagan on YouTube. So definitely this will be a collector's item to pick up for sure. To finally be able to own that book. Now, of course, if you have Sasquatch Bigfoot The Continuing Mystery, you basically do have Sasquatch in Alberta. But this new edition has some revised things in it. So that alone is the reason worth picking it up. So I do plan on getting a copy of that one. Still waiting for my copy of Do Abominable Snowmen of America Really Exist, which is the new edition from Hancock House. Still waiting for that one. I understand there's been some problems with some early editions of it. I don't want to go into all that. But apparently there were some issues with early production publications of the book. So, but yeah, some good stuff. And by the way, thanks goes out to Steven Stroyfert for linking my collection video onto the Coalition page. That's the the video that I put out about my Sasquatch collection, Sasquatch / cryptozoology collection. And this video is going to go up tomorrow, Wednesday, along with a video which is a book review of Timothy Renner's Bigfoot in Pennsylvania, and also my thoughts on the new In Search Of. The newest incarnation of In Search Of, which, yeah, like I said, I enjoyed it, and you'll see more about it in the review that I've already produced. So, but anyhow, there's a few events coming up. There's the International Cryptozoology Symposium or Conference. There's the International Bigfoot Conference coming up. Then there'll be the Sasquatch Summit in November. And some really good stuff. Oh, and I also want to point out that I listened to, and I realize it's probably an old show by now. It was 5 years ago, but I just now have listened to it. And that was the Bigfoot Show, episode 50, which had Bill Munns. And Bill actually proposed a very interesting idea on how to, I don't want to say recreate the PG film, but attempt to see what could be done as far as perhaps attempting to replicate it. His proposal was to have a few teams of special effects makeup individuals build a suit basically comparable to Patty. Now, of course, they would have to use 1960s materials. They could not use modern materials to try and make a suit. And then he was going to see about building a recreation of the Bluff Creek environment. And then put that together. It was a proposed, I think, television project he was talking about. You know, which could be aired on like Animal Planet or National Geographic or something like that. And he was attempting to see if there was a possibility that building Patty could be done. And replicating the environment, replicating, of course, the walk. And it would be very interesting. I would certainly tune in for that, if such a project came about. I hope maybe one of these networks will become interested in it. Maybe he'll do that for the upcoming Legend Meets Science 2 Kickstarter project. Now, I have not seen anything about that online yet, as far as that Kickstarter project. Now, I've been looking, and Bill said about a month ago it was going to be going up the following week, but it looks like it's been delayed a little bit. Where individuals can, of course, contribute to Legend Meets Science 2, contribute as far as finances, and of course you get all kinds of incentives and perks and things of that nature. So that would be a very good incentive to fund that particular project, which Bill Munns is going to be part of, as I think I've mentioned previously. But yeah, you just look for the Bigfoot Show. I guess BigfootShow.com. The show is called Munzapalooza. It was episode number 50 of the Bigfoot Show, and it's really good. Two plus hour interview with Bill Munz, which featured the late Paul Vella, R.I.P. Paul, and also Sam Rich, the Matthew McConaughey sound-alike, and of course Brian Brown, and of course Scott Harriet. Which I like Scott. I do. I like Scott. Scott's awesome. He's great. Don't agree with him on the PG film, but he's pretty cool. I've known him for a long time. I've known Scott for a long time. He's a good guy. And we've talked. Scott and I have talked about his percentage of disbelief in the PG film, but he's not saying there's no Sasquatch. So, and like I said, Scott and I, we've talked about it. So, I have no problem with skeptics of the Patterson-Gimlin film. Those who think that, it couldn't possibly be real. I think it's a hoax based on this. Now, I will listen. See, I'm the type, I will listen to an argument on the PG film, like a con argument that it's a hoax, if the presentation is well thought out and it's well balanced. I'm not going to listen to rumor and innuendo like Bob Hieronymus. I personally think he had nothing to do with the Patterson-Gimlin film. Philip Morris claiming that he sold a suit to Roger Patterson, which I don't believe that for a second. There's no receipts, there's no record of sales, nothing like that. If this actually happened the way Philip Morris claimed it did, then wouldn't he have kept some sort of record? I would think he would have. That would be my assessment. I would think that he would have kept some sort of records, receipts or whatever, but apparently he didn't. So, what we're left with is he said, she said from Bob Hieronymus. But as I've said, I will listen to a well thought out presentation on why the PG film is a hoax. Will I agree with it? Most likely not, but I'll listen to it. I think a lot of skeptics make the mistake of relying too much on Bob Hieronymus and Philip Morris. That's kind of where they where their argument falls apart, if you ask me. And relying on Bob Hieronymus' testimony. I mean, the man doesn't even know how to get to the film site, but yet he was supposedly there, and he supposedly wore the suit, or wore the alleged suit. I mean, I don't believe it for a minute. So anyway, gosh, this is going on almost 20 minutes. So I'm going to end it there, and actually, I'm going back to weekly, starting tomorrow, Wednesday. So yes, I'll be back to weekly because it's getting close to back to school and everything, and this past summer, late spring, early summer, that's when I usually only have news every couple of weeks. But a lot of stuff is happening, so I feel like I have to kind of express it weekly. And by the way, the links to everything I'm talking about will be in the comments, or will be in the description below. And yeah, check out Monster X Radio. Check out CliffBerrickman.com. and SasquatchCanada.com. Those are some of the best sites as far as Sasquatch is concerned. Bigfoot. Small Town Monsters. Yes, I mean, they apparently have a new documentary that's available now, On the Trail of Champ, which I have not seen. I've not seen the Flatwoods Monster either, but I do want to see both of those. And probably hear the volunteer fire department. There they go. So yeah, I mean, smalltownmonsters.com. They got all kinds of cool stuff there. They got DVDs. They got even Blu-rays if you want a Blu-ray of something. They've got T-shirts. They've got all kinds of cool merchandise. So yeah, check them out. smalltownmonsters.com. I'm sure Seth will appreciate your business. So anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and shut this party down. Thank you very much for tuning in. And hey, y'all be good or be good at it. This has been HBM's Crypto Corner, and I'll see you next week.